Good morning to you, Shaune. It's a big day. Do you get a bit nervous on these days, or are you always just smiling Shaune?
I think if you don't get a little bit nervous, you're not human. You have to be on your toes, and everybody wants everything to go smoothly. And there's no better feeling than, as you probably heard in the emotion in my voice, just in that previous Group 1, that Oaks. No bigger game than Trentham when the Group 1s are out. So that's what we're all here to try and do.
Excalibur is in the 2-mile Wellington Cup. That's a crucial factor today, Shaune. How do you think he'll cop 2 miles? Because these days, it's a distance we probably don't see enough of in this country. He's the favourite or equal favourite for the race against a horse who has proven over the 2 miles. Last year it was a dawdle. Often, Shaune, it can be a hard run 2 miles at Trentham. How do you think your fella's going to cop it if it becomes a hard run one today?
Well, if you watch the Auckland Cup, it probably doesn't look that pretty. He got on the bit a little bit. He'd gone through the grades that prep, and he ran in the Auckland Cup, not in a handicap, in a set weights and penalties, and was very poorly off on the weight scale on that occasion. And he got on the bit a little bit. Now, he's had wind surgery, this horse, and we're only just starting to work out now that the best way to ride him is cold, because obviously horses who grab their breath or have wind problems often need to be just taken back, allowed to get through their paces, and then pick up. So I suppose the biggest issue today will be riding him cold and just how far back he'll be and how big a start he'll be giving Bizwinkle and Prince Shabil and those sort of classic horses up there. But he's got that little bit of a weight edge on them, and he's got a very good tactical jockey in Jason Liddell. If you go back through the previous Wellington Cups, they quite often pack up a bit from 1,000 metres through to that 500-metre mark. And if he can get on the back of the right horse going forward and be handy on the corner in an attacking position, then he has been set for this race. And he has had a couple of little hiccups on the way, but we feel we've got him right here today. He's been to the Waitangi Beach and he's been to carry me around, so he's going to think Jason Liddell's a feather when he gets on his saddle tonight. But he's been walking in the water up to his knees and all his joints are nice and cool, so he's nice and ready today.
That hardly sounds fair, carrying you around, Shaune, but we'll touch on that another day. Excalibur 6 last time, we just showed the video coming out of the City of Auckland Cup. I thought it was okay, but Shaune, I'll put this to you as bluntly as possible, because money's money and affection's another thing altogether. Does sometimes when he gets into situations he doesn't like, can he be a horse who sulks a little bit? Is he a horse who likes things to be his way?
Look, I think that's probably not unfair. He got a nasty stone bruise through part of the spring, and most horses would shake it off, and he took a little longer to get over it. So he's probably not the bravest, and he does prefer to run his race with some room. If he gets held up or he gets moved across on, or he's got to be ridden for a little bit of luck, sometimes he always doesn't split off that leg quite as good. Having said that, he's he is in superb order today, and if he's in a position where he can make a full 1,000-metre run, he comes through the grades, taking off 1,000 out, attacking on the corner, and keep running to the line. And that particular City of Auckland Cup was, once again, tactical error, I feel. We chased him out of the gate from a good draw, and it simply doesn't work for this horse. So each time we've ridden him out of the barrier, he just hasn't rounded his races off quite the same. So I think possibly if you look at one or two of his earlier runs this prep, he looks a much stronger chance than perhaps the last one. But we'll fix that by riding him cold this afternoon.
You talk about riding horses cold, Shaune. One of your other major chances for the day is Sultan of Swing. He is barrier 1 in the Thorndon Mile. Look, he made enormous ground up in the Rich Hill. He was probably the run of the race of those in behind the place getters. Any chance, as we look at this video here, him coming from last in the Rich Hill, any chance today that Mickey Coleman can take advantage of barrier 1 and maybe ride him a lot closer, which on last week's Trentham form might be the place to be, Shaune?
Absolutely. Look, this horse is probably one of the few in the race who has won an open sprint and can race up outside the leader in an event like that. So being handy from barrier 1 is key to his chances today. In the Ritchie Mile, he drew, I think the marble come out at 21, so he was one of the widest horses in the race, and we were forced to ride him cold. We were also testing whether he could run the mile out, and I felt that he made a lot of ground up in the straight, and from gate 1, he's going to get a very economical trip, if not the run of the race. He's likely to be in the trail or 3 back, and he can sprint off his legs, so I think he's big overs, this horse, and I think he should be paying a lot less than he is, and he's certainly going to get that economical trip where he's a very good place bet at $5 something a place.
On to the last on the card, and the Duro Cup has for a long time been one of those races which these sort of horses are aimed at, Shaune. These days probably not as much as it used to be. The stake isn't greatly different from most rating 82 type races, but you come in beautifully here with Owen Patrick, because not only do you have 54.5, you're taking 3 kilos off with a rider, Shaune, who's probably not really a 3 kilo claimer. Wirramoo Pin, or Billy Pin as they call him, is way better than that. So you've got a big advantage here. Carrying 51.5, what chance in the last for Owen Patrick?
Well, look, that's the key to his chances, isn't it? I think it's a very good booking, as for the reasons you just said. He's an on-pace horse. He'll come across and be in the first 3 or 4. And it's just hard to know how good or not good, I suppose, this horse is. He seems to do enough, and we just don't know how much petrol's in the tank. This is a jump up in grade, but it's a significant drop in weight. And he showed us a lot of promise as a 3-year-old and raced against some of the better 3-year-olds, but he was just a little bit weak in running 4th and 5th and not quite rounding his races off due to a lack of physical strength. He's got that now, and his form suggests that he's got through the grades well. As you quite rightly say, the Duro Cup's always been a good pointer to the Thornton Mile next year. Down here at Wellington, and it'd be nice to have this horse in that style of race next year. And I guess we're here to find out how good he is this afternoon.
Mate, good luck at Trentham today. You also got one down there at Gore. Fox in Socks is in the Gore Guineas, and quite clearly, Shaune, I'm thinking you're getting down there looking for some black type with the daughter of Ifraj. Barrier 11 doesn't look great, doesn't look terrible. It's sort of in the middle of the pack there somewhere. Is it a case of a throw at the stumps as we look at her win 2 starts ago, or is she a genuine black type filly and therefore this is a stepping stone to maybe something better?
Well, we've had a little bit of success by taking some well-bred fillies to chase some black type in the South Island. We had a So You Think filly, Global Thinking, went down and won the Southland Guineas last year, and this has been very much this filly's target. We just feel she's probably a length or 2 off the better fillies up north, and it's a good opportunity for her. Having said that, she was very fat in the first run down there, and she got tired the last little bit and showed a lack of fitness. But that's aimed at trying to get through the series and making sure that she's peaking at the right time. I feel the Southland Guineas might be the right race for her. I think she's always hit the line well when she's been ready, certainly her first 2 starts, and thinking the mile will really suit. So, I'm expecting her to run well today, but her main target will almost certainly be the Southland race in Invercargill.
Shaune, I know it's a busy morning. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. If I text you earlier today, Shaune, and we weren't on TV, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Peter Locke, and I said, Shaune, I need a winner. I'm out of cash. It's been a tough start to 2019. What would you text me back?
You sound like you're talking about my whole 2018 out of cash. Mate, I would tip you into Sulphur Swinger Place. I just think he's going to get that run that it's going to be economical for him, and I think he's going to look a serious chance, certainly at some point in the straight, and he's probably the value. And I do like Take It Like a Man a little bit at Tirapa tomorrow if things go badly today for everybody.